Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rudi and thank you so much for being here. Today's video, we are, as promised from our last video, going to do just an updated Q&A. I'm almost at 45 or 50,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. I remember when I hit 1,000 subscribers 2 or 3 summers ago, and I was absolutely ecstatic. And here we are, 45K later. So I just wanted to say thank you, and I know that there are a lot of new faces around here, so I thought it could be fun to do just an updated Q&A. We'll answer some questions that I've gotten in the past, and also a lot of new ones about just what it's like to be a creator in 2023, my plans for the future, how I got to this point, all of that jazz, while of course doing a get ready with me. And today's vibe is going to be perfect light coverage that is absolutely perfected, flawless, natural skin-like, covering redness, matte, glowy. I know that made no sense, but we're gonna play with some new products. I have a foundation here that I've been dying to test that is from the drugstore, and I just feel in my heart of hearts that it's gonna be like a new, really good foundation. So we're gonna test that out and go through your juicy questions. So, like I said, if you are new here, my name is Rudi. We talk about skincare, makeup, hauls, vlogs, which I need to do a vlog, y'all. It's been too long. We kind of talk about old YouTube with new makeup, if that makes sense. That's sort of my tagline these days, and I'm sticking with it, so I would love to have you subscribe. I've been really lazy about priming my skin lately because I wear a lot of rings, and I don't like the fact that I have to take them all off to put on a primer and rub it in. So I'm just gonna go in with the Peach and Lily Glass Skin Veil Mist. This is one of my favorite spritzers, facial sprays that exists, and it's one of the only ones that I've tried that actually gives you a glow on your skin. I find that you kind of have to use a lot, especially if you're gonna prime your skin with it, but it's amazing for just kind of like rehydrating the skin without having to get a full ass primer out, you know? Okay, so I've got a few like questions about my personal life, so I feel like we should start possibly with that. First question was, what inspired you to become a content creator, and what was your job before? So I want to first start off with this foundation that I'm really excited to test. I'm going to zoom us in. Before we answer that question, this is the Revlon Skin Caring Foundation. 5% squalene hyaluronic acid. It's basically makeup and skincare in one is what they're calling it. There's no SPF in here. And I'm just really excited to try this. I've heard amazing things about it, but it's been very low key. And I'm like, I'm ready to be high key about if this is good or not. So I'm just gonna apply some to my hand and then go in on a brush on one side and a sponge on the other to see how we feel. But I'm feeling like this is gonna be amazing. So before this, let me backtrack. I have my degree in arts management in the music business. So I went to Indiana University, go Hoosiers, for a degree in arts management because I always wanted to work in music or art or something of that capacity. I never saw myself working like a typical 9 to 5. And I honestly don't know why that is. Like, I don't know why I never saw myself doing like finance or econ or anything like that. Like, my friends that were studying business, I was like, Godspeed, that's not for me. I really don't know. I just never saw myself doing that, which I guess makes sense now, knowing what we know about me. So yeah, studied music business, and right after school I moved to Nashville. I graduated in 2015. This is nice, you guys. This is very nice. This side has the foundation, and you can see it has that natural luminosity to it, and this side doesn't. Ooh, girl, that is nice. I'm gonna do the other side with a sponge and see how we feel about that. So yeah, I moved to Nashville right out of school, and I was like, whatever job I can get in the industry, I will take. And I had a couple odd jobs when I first started that, like working in distribution, like to get music on Spotify, things like that. And then I worked at a marketing company that did marketing for music venues. And then my job before this, I was working as a promoter, and I worked in music and comedy. So basically what I did was help artists like make their tours. I would like set up the touring for them based on like the best way to route, either like by bus or by plane travel, and then I would book all of their venues, set their ticketing prices, all of that stuff, and then I would go out with them and settle all the shows basically and get them their money. That's what a promoter does, and as you can tell, it was a lot of work based on what I just said. It was an insane amount of work, and I was working a lot. My hours were just like typically 9 to 6, and I was working much more than that and also traveling on top of it. So that was stressful for me before I ended up doing this. Okay, here is the finish of this foundation. I think it's really pretty. I only used about a pump and a half. I would say that this is more of a light medium coverage before I would say that it was full medium, which I think is what they were trying to say. It's very pretty, it's very buildable, and it's very natural. And my skin is not in the best place right now, so that's really saying something. I just have a lot of redness and irritation. Also, my neighbor is literally getting a new fence put in right outside this window. So if you hear music or men hitting a fence, that's literally what it is. As far as my inspiration to take this job, it honestly just has to do with the fact that I've always loved YouTube, I've always loved beauty, and I've always loved connecting with people in my real life and helping them figure out the best makeup, skincare, all of that for their skin type. So it just kind of came natural to me when a friend of mine was like, you should start a YouTube channel and talk about your experience with your acne. And that's kind of what sparked it all for me. That could be its own video in total, just talking about how I went from talking about mostly skincare and my acne journey to now talking about mostly makeup, which we could talk about in another video if you want, but I've already been talking about this for 7 minutes. All right, the next thing I'm gonna do is use another new product I've not tried. This is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Dark Spots Concealer and Serum. I was curious about this for multiple reasons. One, it says it's a buildable medium coverage with a natural finish, which I can appreciate. And it also has a brush tip on it. Like the actual applicator is a brush. I thought it was a sponge. It's a brush. So I have shade Light Neutral and Light Warm. I think I'm gonna use both of them and use it to conceal, and then we'll use a little bit of the brush and also a sponge. So the next question, I'm not offended by at all, but I did get a couple times, which was, do I feel pressured to have kids? And, you know, are you having kids soon? I am 29, turning 30 this. Oh, that's interesting. You can't really wipe it off or you'll lose all the coverage. Good to know. Turning 30 this June, which is why Reed and I are going to France for my 30th birthday. Also, right off the bat, I have to say this is super thin. Like, super thin. Almost runny thin. I don't like this little brush. It's poking me in the eye. Not a fan. And it just soaked up all that product. I'm gonna use a sponge. Yeah, so especially living in the South, I definitely don't feel pressured to have kids because I surround myself with people who are similar to me and like would never pressure me to have kids. My parents don't pressure me to have kids. Reed's parents haven't pressured us to have kids. And I think that's because most people in my life know that I want kids. I'm not ready yet. And they're cool with that. You know what I mean? Who else is gonna be taking care of the damn thing but me? It's just me. So I think it would be weird for people to pressure others about having kids unless they're literally the ones that's gonna poop it out. I'm the one that has to poop it out. If I wanna have a kid, I will have a kid when I'm ready. And, you know, I will say if I didn't have this job, I probably would have already had a kid. But starting this job and starting this career has really given me this like new experience and things I've never done before that I want to still be selfish for a little bit longer. And I think that's okay. And my husband is on the same page about it. I really want to give this career all I've got before I take time off to have kids. And the conversation about men versus women having kids is a whole other thing because like even just being a woman and having kids, going back to work, it is not the same as a man having a kid and going back to work. It's just not. And I recognize that and I'm not ignorant to that. So I know it would be difficult, especially because I don't know how I would feel about filming after having a kid. I might not want to do it anymore. I might want to talk about something else. I know in my heart of hearts, I do not want to be a mommy vlogger. So it's just a conversation that I have to have with myself when I decide that I'm ready. But at this point, I don't feel ready because also we have a ton of travel coming up. We're going to India at the end of the year and I'm not about to fly 20 hours pregnant. You're out of your mind. Especially, I love Indian food and I would like to enjoy it and not be feeling sick, so. Also, look at this concealer. This is gorgeous. Bye Bye Dark Spots. I don't know why they called it Bye Bye Dark Spots because this is like a really dewy, thin, lightweight concealer. I don't think I would use this on spots because it's way too like thin and lightweight. I would use it under my eyes. They should call this lightweight cutie cutie, is what I say. So the next question is, do you have a date for your berry freckled pen? Oh, also I'm using the Patrick Ta She's Bronzed is the shade I'm using. It's the cream contour and powder bronzer, and I love everything that he has made in this line that has the cream and the powder. They're just so good. So yes, we have a date on the berry freckled pen. I'm not going to give you the exact day yet because we are going into production and I want to make sure I give you an accurate date once we get into production. But I can say it will be in July. It will be this summer. Obviously I would love if the pen was ready right now, but I am working with a small company that has a small lab and they are a small team. So I don't have control over that, unfortunately. We're not slapping our name on a product that already exists, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not making a lip gloss that already exists, but just having it be a different shade. It's like this entire component doesn't even exist in the United States. Like, it exists in South Korea, it's one of one, and this is a component that we're bringing to the US. It takes a little bit of extra work and time to get all of that in, and soon I'll have that info for you and the pricing. And the team from Buble is actually coming to Nashville in July, and we are going to do the final like photo shoot for the products and for the marketing. So it's gonna be so cute and fun, and I really think even if you're not a freckle person, you will be converted by the end of this summer because this is amazing. And also, like, I use freckles all the time in the winter, in the summer, like constantly. So to me, it's gonna be a year-round product, but obviously I think freckles are usually like associated with summertime. So I'm really excited for you guys to try it. But yes, just know it's coming this summer. I will keep you guys updated. I haven't wanted to talk about it too much because I don't want to like get people excited for something that doesn't exist yet and that you can't get. I just think that's kind of mean. So if you have questions on it, let me know. We're gonna do a whole video once it launches so we can talk about the best way to use it and all of that, but we're just not quite there yet, and I wanna make sure you guys have the correct information before I start talking about it too much. But yes, it's coming soon. I'm very excited. All right, the next question I got, we're starting to talk more about being a creator in this economy. It's feeling about paid ads / staying authentic / followers not liking ads. Seems like a tough balance. You're right, it is a tough balance. Also for blush today, I'm going to use the Tarte Glow Light liquid blush because I talked about this in the last video, but I didn't wear it for you. And this is in the shade Sun Rush. And then I'm also gonna top it with a little bit of this powder blush from Pat McGrath Labs. God, that's so pretty. And this is in the shade Divine Rose 3, I believe. So I just felt like these colors looked very cute together, like a mauve pink moment. So yes, it is a tough balance to find considering recently people have noticed that not all creators are authentic and honest about their advertisements, and that's not just like one person, that's like across the board. And especially with the creation of TikTok and knowing that things are like 30 seconds for an ad and there's not a lot of like playtime or wear tests anymore. It's just like, how can I make a product go viral? And let me tell you, like, I have definitely been a part of that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna pretend like I don't try and get viral videos as well, but that's where the divide comes with creating ads and having authenticity and honesty within your community. So also, as you can see, that was like a cream to powder formula. I ended up using too much, of course. And it blends out very nice. I wore this the other day. It's got a matte finish to it, which I also like because it's hard to find a good cream that has a nice matte finish that doesn't kind of like pick up your other products. So no, I'm not a huge fan of Tarte at the moment, and we can talk about that in another video, but I did want to show you that because I had talked about it in another video. But I'm going to top it with this Pat McGrath, and I'm going to use like a really light hand and a light, really fluffy brush so that I'm not picking up any creams. I like to think personally that I do a good job trying to stay completely honest and authentic with my community, and by doing so I talk about things I don't like, I talk about things I do like. I always use products on camera, I don't use filters, and I hope that by buying a few of my recommendations, if you have, that you know that you can trust what I am telling you is the truth. I try and give information that will be helpful regardless of who's buying it by saying like, if you have skin like this, you might like this. If you have skin like this, you probably won't like it. Because obviously I know not everyone watching my videos has the same skin type and the same sort of like preferences that I do. So by giving those sort of bullet points, I'm hopeful that people will not just all go out and buy something because I said it was good, but that specific people will buy it based on the criteria that I've laid out, if that makes sense. And like, that's obviously not a sexy way of putting it, right? Like, you want the thing that people buy, it's like, oh my God, you have to try this, you'll love it. And it's just like this blanket statement. And I try not to do that because I know that not everyone is the same. But I also recognize that people don't like ads, and that's okay. Like, I get it. It's a hard place to be for me, but I completely understand from a consumer's perspective why seeing paid partnerships would annoy them. I am going in with the M98 Highlighter Balm from Mob Beauty. I freaking love this and I don't pull it out enough, and I'm gonna use a sponge on it to pick up some of that product. I also like to use this with a brush, but my sponge is just sitting here. And I'm just gonna tap this into the high points of my face. I like that blush. I will say I think it's probably made for someone who has a little bit lighter of a skin tone than me because it kind of took a lot to build up, but I still do like it. I think that Pat McGrath has great formulations. When I am online and I'm watching videos as a consumer, because I do, like just like you, I get on TikTok and I look at makeup videos or whatever, I can tell when someone is being realistic about how they feel about a product and when they don't. And that's one thing that I know in my heart of hearts, like, consumers are not stupid. People are not stupid. Stop trying to lie to their face and play them as if they can't buy the product and see what it's like themselves. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I will never treat you like Boo Boo the Fool, okay? You could easily do this job if you wanted to, and if you go and buy the products, you're gonna see what I'm saying. So why would I lie to you? It doesn't make any sense. Long story short, I know that people aren't a huge fan of ads, and I get it, but it is a huge portion of how I make my money, so it is a rock against a hard place, essentially. I've been doing my makeup like however order I want, basically, lately, depending on like if I want something to match something else. So I'm gonna go in with this lip liner next because I wanna see how it blends with this blush, which actually is kind of looking a little patchy, I'm not gonna lie to you. It might be the combination of the powder and the cream together. But this is from Half Magic. They just sent me this. It's their Sculptitude 2-in-1 lip liner, and it has 2 different shades on each end for a little bit of like contouring of the lip line. This is also a personal question, but I wanted to answer it because I remember how hard this was, which was, how did you get over transitioning from your own apartment to your new place with your husband? And oh my gosh, this was way harder for me than I thought it was gonna be. This is also a really pigmented lip liner. I barely touched my lips. Shade is super pretty though. It's a wee bit dark. Let me use the other side. I'm gonna feather it in a little bit. And that side was too light. Oh man. When this is on, it is on. Made my lips look really big though. I'm gonna go on top with this Nude Sticks Hydropeptide Lip Butter and just put a little clear gloss on top. Try and mix the color a little bit. When I met Reed, he lived in this frat house essentially, and I lived with one of my best friends in an apartment. And he was kind of ready to buy his own place. He was renting at the time, and you know, be a grown-up as we were heading closer to our 30s. And we were just dating at that time, so I didn't feel like I had like a real stake in the place that he chose to buy. However, I knew if things went well that I'd probably be moving in because he was buying before me. And when that time came, I thought that I was gonna be okay, and I was a wreck. You guys, I was so sad to leave my apartment. Obviously, I was excited to move in with my fiance at the time, but I was so upset because I had created this life for myself in this apartment that was all my own. It was like my space away from everything. We had a pool. I had been living with Erica at that time for like 4 years. We had a routine, like just everything that comes along with normalcy and like this huge life change that was happening. And I remember I used to drive past our apartment and cry. Like if I was in the neighborhood or whatever, I would drive past it and I would just cry, remembering all the times that I had there, that I used to walk to this specific park. I used to go to this gym and do these things and eat at these restaurants. And I think it's completely normal to, you know, grieve the life that you had when you were by yourself before you move in with anyone, whether it's your partner or not. Like, it's ultimately going to be a good thing, and you'll be excited and happy once you get into your routine. But before that, like, it is a huge change, and you're allowed to be sad about it and to have those two different feelings of like excitement and sadness, which is ultimately why I got this tattoo. I have it with my roommate Erica, and it's from a Casey Musgrave song called Happy and Sad, and it is a smiley face, but he's crying because you as a human are gonna have both emotions mostly almost always at the same time. Like, if you're happy about something, you're probably sad that it's gonna be done. You know, like that juxtaposition of feeling is so normal, and you don't have to be all one way. So it is hard, but the longer you spend with someone and creating that home, the more it's gonna feel like home to you. But you're allowed to be sad about it. Just remember that. And you can message me if you do. Okay, so we got a lot of good questions left. Let's see. Do you ever feel pressure to get cosmetic procedures done? This feels similar to me to the question about getting, I'm using the Kosas Airbrow, by the way. The question about having kids. I think it really, really depends on who you surround yourself with in life and what you choose to consume content-wise. So like my friends, I live in Nashville. My friends are all like real life people. They're not influencers. Obviously, I have friends that are influencers like Kevin, but I don't put myself in a position to be with people that I think are going to try and pressure me to have cosmetic procedures. Look at the difference. This stuff is amazing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think, that's not something I would ever tell someone to do, so there's no way that I would want someone in my life who feels comfortable doing that to me, whether that's online or in person. And then also, like, obviously consuming content makes us all feel a certain way about ourselves, and I can totally relate to that. The content that you consume is going to feed the way that you feel about yourself, your body, your makeup, all of that, which is also why I don't use filters, and I don't recommend getting things done if you know what I mean? Like, obviously I get Botox done and I have videos about that because I want to share true information about something that I got done, but I would never ever tell people that it's something that they need to do regardless, because everyone's on their own journey and comparison is truly the thief of joy. And I'm not going to stand here and say that I don't do that, because I do. I compare myself to people online all the time. But I think it's healthy to know and notice when that's happening and take a step away. Like, whenever I notice that happening, especially on my For You page or my Instagram, I go out of my way to find content that is like almost the opposite. Like, I will go find ASMR content, or I will go watch slime content or cooking content, so that my algorithm starts to pick up other things and gets me out of that cycle of continuously seeing the same type of content. So just remember, whatever you feed your algorithm is going to give you more of. So if you're feeling down and you're feeling like you have this pressure to look a certain way, change up your content and what you're consuming, and I'm telling you, you will feel so much better. But I understand it's hard to get out of that rhythm. So if you need some videos sent to you to get you out of that, let me know, because I will send you some fun and cute videos. Easy. Easy peasy. Which, speaking of, if I only had one social media platform, what would it be? I am using the Tower 28 Make Waves mascara. I love this stuff. I freaking love this stuff. It is so good. It's not a tubing mascara, but I'm telling you, it doesn't smudge. I don't know how they do it, but this holds a curl in my lashes. It separates. It's got a nice, like, almost dry formula to it, which I love. And it's a silicone synthetic wand, which is not usually what I go for, but it gives me the results that I'm looking for, so I am all for it. So honestly, my favorite social media platform, it's really hard to say, because I would say YouTube. Like, right off the bat, I would say YouTube, because I love talking and I love making long videos. If the answer was where do you like posting the most, I would say YouTube. Where do I like being the most is Instagram, because of stories and DMs. Like, I love that I get to connect with people every single day on Instagram stories, because they'll watch my story, comment something, I'll write something back. Like, I talk to people all day on my Instagram stories, which is why I would choose Instagram, because it has the most community for me. But I love YouTube because I feel like I can share more about myself and my life, which is also what I do on my Instagram stories. My least favorite place to be right now is TikTok, because I just feel like it's not fun, there's no community, and I don't know. I only like being places where I feel like I know the people that are commenting and we can talk and have a conversation, and that's just not the case on TikTok for most of it. But I have to keep posting there because that is just what people want these days. And I'm happy to do that, but I do enjoy being on Instagram the most. I just love this. I need to get a lash lift soon because they're feeling a little flat these days. Probably need to get my brows laminated again too. I want a little more blush, I think. I don't know, I can't decide. This look feels unfinished to me. I think it's because I don't wear pink blush. I think I'm gonna wrap this up by talking about a question I got a lot, which was any advice for people that want to start making content. When you started YouTube, did you feel silly just filming yourself for videos no one would watch? Like, just the general advice for people who are starting out and what it's like. There is always room for more people in this industry. If you are afraid that you think that you don't want to start it because everybody else has already done it, that's not true. There is no other you that exists on this planet. And I want to hear what you have to say about something. Everyone has a unique perspective on whatever they are interested in. And that's why there are so many different types of creators out there, because everybody has their own experiences and perspective on what it is they like to talk about. And I think if you have a unique perspective and you are passionate about something, there's always going to be room for you if you have like the right intentions. I will say a big part of creating content that I think the question I get the most in real life is like, don't you ever get embarrassed? Don't you ever get like nervous sharing stuff online? I would say most people that succeed online doing content, one thing that a lot of us have in common, and like I am putting myself in that category because this is my full-time job, so I would say that's successful, is that we are not embarrassed or ashamed. So if you have a lot of shame or embarrassment around putting yourself online and how you're gonna be perceived, it is hard. It would be really hard. I think that it takes a lot of self-confidence and feeling solid in who you are and knowing that whatever someone might have to say is not gonna shake you, and always finding an upside in situations and knowing that more people are gonna be rooting for you than they are gonna be rooting against you, and learning how to like let some of that stuff go, which is hard for a lot of people and why people burn out so easily. And I feel very lucky that I don't take things so personally. Just in general in life, I'm not a combative person. I'm never in fights with my friends or family. That's just not who I am, and I'm not a mad person. So when I get a negative comment, it doesn't hit me as hard as it does some other people, and I think that people who succeed in this industry have thick skin. So that is a part of it for sure. And then the other part of it is, again, not being embarrassed. Like, when I made my first video, I put it on Reddit, I shared it to my friends, I showed it to my husband. Like, I was excited and I wanted people to see it rather than it being like something that was hidden in a way from my real life. You know what I mean? I think that's a part of it, and knowing that like it's gonna take time before you become this creator that everybody is watching, and being thankful for the people that do watch and watching that grow over time. It will happen just because you're focusing on the good and you're focusing on the people who are already there. I could do a whole video on that, so if you want more tips and tricks on creator life and how I got to where I am and what I think works, like in the algorithm and creating searchable content and all that kind of stuff, I can. I'm just not typically a person who creates content for other creators, but if you are an aspiring YouTuber and you want to talk to me in the DMs or whatever, I'm happy to watch your videos, give you feedback, all of that stuff. So let me know if you are doing it. I got you. I don't know why I don't like this look. I don't know if it's the lips, they're a little too nude for me, or if it's the blush, but something doesn't feel right, and that's okay. Sometimes you do your makeup and it just doesn't feel right. I'm gonna let it sit for a little bit and see what I think. I think it might be the blush color with the lip color. I don't know. Why don't you guys roast me in the comments and tell me what's wrong with this look? I hope that you learned a little bit more about me or got a question answered in this video. I love doing Q&As. I like doing them on Instagram a lot. So if you want more information or you have questions, feel free to follow me at the Rudi Berry. I answer all of my DMs. I would love to hear what videos you guys want to see from me in the next couple months before I head out to France. I want to do like a little get ready with me try on, talking about the outfits I'm gonna wear and the trip that we have planned for my 30th and all of that jazz. So let me know if you're interested in that. Obviously, I'll keep you updated on the timing for the freckle pen. I'm so excited for you guys to get your hands on it. You have no idea. And oh, one last reminder. My merch is currently live. Again, I decided to reopen the launch. So if you missed the merch from the last launch, you have like 10 more days to pick it up this time. It's really just for people who maybe missed it the last time, and I can reopen it in the future. However, I'd like to make some new cool stuff in the future. So again, if you want to help out a good cause, Abortion Care of Tennessee, and you're interested in some really cute merch, I will have that linked down below. And I will see you guys in the next video really soon. Bye.